26 most hyped Indian films of 2026, up and coming and everything. A lot of you guys linked this over, especially since I already watched Dhurandhar on my channel, and I actually watched a kind of documentary about the real story of it. It's all here on my channel. I'm probably linking it here right now. But I want you guys to know that there's so many more that are coming, and I cannot wait to check it out with you guys. So without further ado, let's check this video out, seeing the 26 most hyped Indian movies of 2026.
Ranveer Singh and Ranbir Kapoor are finally back in competition mode.
Oh, really?
Rocky is returning 4 years after KGF with 5 heroines. Rajinikanth is assembling a multiverse of
KGF. I should be watching that, right? You guys have been spamming that, bro. KGF. Is it really that good? Is it Dhurandhar level? I know it might be different, maybe, but explain it, because I genuinely have been hearing about it nonstop. But at the same time, the Dhurandhar style, I absolutely love, like how realistic and the storytelling of it was so good.
Stars for a single film, and Talapati Vijay is walking away from cinema with one final film. 2026 looks absolutely insane for Indian movies. But hello and welcome back to the channel, everyone. Happy New Year! In today's video, we're going to be ranking 26 upcoming Indian movies that I'm most excited to watch in 2026. This video is going to be a little long, but I guarantee you it's going to be worth the wait. But before we begin, hit that like and subscribe button, because in 2026, just like the movies, we are going big. No other option. Let's begin. At number 26,
guys, I want to hit this channel, get 100K, get a second plaque for this Vision Movies channel. I love you guys. Let's make that happen. You feel me?
Jana Nayagan. The reason I'm putting this film so far down in the list is not because it's a remake of Bhagwan Kesari, the Balaya movie, and not because it's directed by H. Vinod, who started out as a director with so much promise but kind of lost his voice along the way, mainly trying to cater to a big star's fan base. If you know, you know. Let's go back thousands of years before to 323 BC. Alexander the Great, one of the greatest rulers of the world. At the age of 32, he's at the absolute peak of his power.
Yeah.
But one day, he suddenly dies. And his death is so sudden that it leaves the rest of the world completely confused. Who is going to be the next king? That was about ancient Greece, but in the empire of Mollywood, if it is anyone apart from Rajinikanth who has truly ruled this industry for so many decades, it has to be Vijay. I'm not a personal fanboy myself, but even I know this. After Jana Nayagan, which is supposed to be his last film before he enters politics, I think Tamil cinema is about to enter its post-Alexander phase. Films will continue, stars will continue, new stars will rise, but he is going to leave behind a void for fans, for producers, for the thousands of technicians that his movies used to once employ.
Yeah.
And that is not something I'm excited about. At number 25, Tiki, Taka. One of the most raw, most kick-ass Malayalam action films I've ever seen is Kala, directed by Rohit VS. He is a really visionary director.
Visionary. Yo, should I watch that? I've actually heard you guys talk about that too before. Kala, right? Is that what it's called?
Scene is Kala, directed by Rohit VS. He is a really visionary director. If you don't believe me, you just have to watch this conversation with Bharadwaj that he had. It is a masterclass on how to convert your vision into cinema. And Rohit teaming up with Asif Ali, Naslin and Vamika Gabbi for another stylish action film that's giving video game vibes. The project got me really interested, but then they dropped this poster with Asif Ali having these Wolverine claws. And I'm like, bro, I don't know what the hell you're making, but just shut up and take my money. At number 24, Athiradi. In most of the industries, stardom is like WWE. Everyone wants their own entrance music, everyone wants their own entry, everyone is a solo player. But in Malayalam cinema, stardom is like football. You play as a star player, but as a part of the team, and if you don't play as a team, you're out. Actors collaborate with each other all the time without thinking about who's getting a bigger salary, who's getting more screen time, who's getting more vanity vans. There's such a visible brotherhood in Mollywood, and when you see an actor like Tovino Thomas and two actor-directors like Vineet Srinivasan and Basil Joseph in a 3-hero film, plus Basil looking so Gen Z coded in this look that he dropped as a college student, this movie is going to be a treat. At number 23, Dacoit. In the world of YouTubers, there are mainly two kinds of YouTubers. The first type is a machine gun, the creator who consistently shoots out a lot of videos, worrying more about quantity than quality. The other type is a sniper, the creator who puts out very few videos once in a very long time, but when he drops a video, you know it's going to be a banger. And this doesn't just make sense for YouTubers, it applies to any kind of artists, especially actors.
Yeah,
and according to me,
spam it out,
is a sniper, very choosy in selecting scripts. Sometimes he develops his own scripts, but when he decides to do a film, you know you're going to get something high quality, something far away from the regular formula.
Yeah, I think that's something that's actually going to be a lot more special for films per se, because at least with YouTube, it's easier to drop a lot of quality really quickly, especially if you have a team. But when it comes to films, it's harder to drop really quality very fast. The reason I say so is because films are bigger, more of an enterprise, much larger, and much more difficult to consistently drop with high quality. It's actually like almost impossible to do so. But with YouTube videos, at least you could drop a quantity with quality, right? Whether it be with like your personality or whether it be with other small things and with your team editing or whatever, that's possible. But with films like this, when I see a director or whatever doing something where they're taking their time with it, that to me shows that it's gonna be fire. And that's what I prefer rather than, you know, a director who's always posting, because it's a movie. You know what I mean? Take your time.
Up with Mrunal Thakur as a couple of criminals on the run from a badass cop played by CASHAPP. I think Dacoit is going to be one of the dark horses of 2026, and this looks like Sesh's attempt at the masala action genre, but with him, you know that the flavor of that masala is going to be unique. Number 22, Kathanar, the Wild Sorcerer. This film is going to be really interesting because we saw a glimpse of this character called Kathanar, who's a legendary priest from Kerala folklore in Loka. You see him meeting Chandra in her flashback. This guy is supposed to be this OG wizard who uses black magic to defeat demons and break curses. Personally, I find stories about anti-heroes much more interesting than superheroes because how they use their power. Whether they use their power to fight evil or to spread evil. Films about such characters automatically become so much more dramatic and cinematic.
Yeah.
And in this film, we're going to get to see the return of Anushka as Neeli, the female spirit or the Yakshi that Kathanar's character has a battle of power and ego with. And this is a request to every Indian filmmaker out there. Please explore more stories from our own folklore, but when you do, don't hold back. Number 21, Drishyam 3. The first Drishyam was like this perfect Death by Chocolate ice cream, cake, ice cream, hot fudge with a cherry on top. It just felt
Never seen
complete and you didn't know how anyone can make this any better. And then came Drishyam 2. They took that chocolate ice cream, added another kind of a new sauce, more nuts, caramel toppings, something and all, and somehow they made a perfect film even better with its sequel. And after Drishyam 2, again, I genuinely don't know how they can improve this. But when Jeetu Joseph is saying that part 3 is going to be a completely different film than the first two parts, that it's going to focus more on the family, more on the emotional aspect of things, I think he's trying to play a George Kutti on us. He's telling us a story that feels believable, but the real truth is hiding somewhere else. Number 20, Paradise. There are three things.
What I'm liking about this is like there's completely different styles and genres within these films that he's mentioning too. So one can be a lot more emotional, explaining a lot more about family. One is more action-based. One is more like superhero-like for Indian films. And of course, out of these, you guys, this is why I'm also watching this when you guys linked it over, that you guys will pick out the ones that for sure should be up first, right? Even a list, if anything, and maybe the top comment of the list of which one I should watch first will be the one I do, you feel me?
That I genuinely hate about a lot of modern South Indian films right now. Number 1, visually, too many films are just looking like KGF and Salar. This trend is still going strong. Number 2, the same template of an anti-hero slowly becoming the savior of an entire land. It's the same story for almost every single film. And number 3, actors like Nani who are incredible at comedy and romance. Somehow they're also feeling pressure to play these dark gangster characters, trying to play the same commercial game because it has worked in the past for other actors. But even then, I still want to watch Paradise on the big screen, mainly because I respect one aspect of Nani's career choices. He tends to repeat directors and not because they worked commercially. He repeats directors mainly because he believes in their work. He believes in the potential of the filmmaker and what he can be given the right project. If the first collaboration doesn't work, he just doesn't ghost the director like many actors do. He doubles down and says, we'll get it right the next time. He did that with Vivek Atreya first, with Ante Sundaraniki and Saripoda Sanivaram, and now he's going to do it again with Srikanth Odella. First they made Dasara together, and now they're making this movie which looks even bigger in scale. Plus, you have a powerhouse performer like Raghav Jual playing the villain in his first film. Hyped. At number 19, I am game. On one side, I really love that our Indian filmmakers are exploring our own folklore, but on the other side, when I rewatch some of my favorite Hollywood films like Ocean's 11, I'm always thinking to myself,
dude, Ocean's 11 is fire. That's a fire film.
why don't we make these kinds of movies?
Facts.
Stylish casino thrillers. Maybe because gambling isn't such a huge part of our culture, except Dream 11. Maybe because casinos itself aren't legal in India, or at least on Indian land. That's why you'll see floating casinos in Goa parked on Indian water. Very few Indian films have tried this space, and none of them have really cracked it. And if there's one actor who would look completely home in a casino, stylish suit, sunglasses, poker face, it has to be Dulquer Salmaan. Along with the director of RDX, Dulquer is finally stepping out of his retro star image and trying to make a stylish contemporary action thriller, and I'm genuinely curious to see what they cooked. Number 18, DC. This guy made a film with the biggest superstar that made more than 500 crores at the box office, but guess what social media did? They turned him into meme material, called the movie a scam, a failure, all sorts of things.
That's usually what you expect too with a lot of films, bro. You have to be afraid of that happening. And even with him, it could be a different particular case, but like any film, if you were to be a movie director, like be prepared. Like if there's one moment that's funny or it turns into a meme or something, some situation, then everybody will cling to that forever.
Because it didn't meet their wild expectations. Honestly, I can't imagine the mental space of someone like Lokesh, who spent so many years working on one single project, and then he has to deal with this kind of noise. We saw what happened with Nelson after Beast, but thankfully, he took a break, came back stronger with Jailer. I'm not really excited about some of our good directors becoming actors and then leaving direction behind. But this time, Lokesh making his acting debut in Arun Madheshwaran's DC, which is another contemporary gangster take on the epic story of Devdas. He's been training kickboxing in Thailand, doing something completely different from his main line of work, which is direction. And this actually feels like a healthy break, a healthy reset. Hopefully, after finishing this project, he'll be back to form as the director, which we once used to love. At number 17, Mahakali. After playing Aurangzeb in Chhawa and then going completely viral across the world as
I knew he looked familiar. What the heck? Hold on.
Playing Aurangzeb in Chhawa,
Yo.
and then going completely viral
That's insane.
across the world as Dacoit in Dhurandhar. If an actor like Akshay Khanna wants to completely change his appearance and do a mythological story, wants to explore his range by doing roles like a guru of Asuras, and if that means that he has to quit a film like Drishyam 3, leave approved. This is also going to be Akshay Bhai's Telugu debut, that too in the Prashant Verma cinematic universe. And I have to appreciate the makers for one more thing. Instead of random cliched casting choices, which happens a lot of the times, they've cast Bhumi Shetty for the title role, a young Kannada actor who looks and feels culturally rooted to the world that the story is based on. Number 16, Patriot. Mammootty, Mohanlal, Fahad Fasil in a single film. But more than that, check out the teaser that they dropped, watch it once or twice, get to know what the story is about, and then ask yourself, will such a film be allowed to be made or released in any other major Indian language other than Malayalam? Number 15, Operation Dream Theatre. If any of you need a proof of what a genius this filmmaker called Hemant Rao is, go watch Sapta Sagardache Hello, Side A and Side B right now on Prime Video.
Never watched it.
I've never seen someone take a
Wait, what is it called again?
Sagardache
Sapa Sagarachi.
Hello, Side A and Side B.
And Side B. Hello, Side A and Side B. I think you guys talked to me about that one. Yo, should that be the next one?
Right now on Prime Video. I've never seen someone take a simple love story and turn it into this heart-crushing work of art that became a cult film immediately upon release. And just these two films are the reason why I will watch anything that this guy makes on the big screen, including his upcoming spy thriller set in the 1970s. At number 14, the Allu Arjun Atlee film. You know, sometimes when you're driving, you see a massive crowd on the side of the road. Noise, chaos, everyone gathering, and you can't help yourself, but you have to stop, get down, go check out what this commotion is about for yourself. And sometimes it's a celebration, but most of the times it's an accident. And this film feels like that big commotion, that big event that you can't just ignore. One of the most expensive Indian movies ever made, Allu Arjun playing 5 roles across generations, 5 heroines, and that announcement teaser which is trademark Atlee but on steroids. Of course, we're all going to show up and watch it, but I just hope that when we get there, it happens to be a celebration and not an accident. Number 13, Tiki. There's a moment in every man's life when he feels that his childhood is officially
It's SRK.
finished. For some, it was when Sachin Tendulkar retired. For some, it was when Dhoni or Messi retired. And for me, it's when the king of romance stopped doing romantic films and then started doing bloody action films like any other star out there. So when I watched the launch teaser of King, one part of me is a little sad, but another part of me is like, damn, Shah Rukh looks badass in this look. He's not being delulu, he's not pretending to be younger, he's not in denial. He's playing his age, and watching him kick ass in a no-holds-barred action film is not a bad deal. But honestly, this is my worry. Most Bollywood action films are extremely generic in action set pieces. Except films like Animal and Dhurandhar, who've raised...
Oh, I have to watch Animal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Dhurandhar has raised the standard for me. That's a problem, by the way. Because Dhurandhar, the way they took it, and I know that it's a real story and everything, but even real story aside, that style that they took about Dhurandhar and the way that they did it, and the acting, the scripting, the talking, the fight scenes, it didn't feel goofy. It didn't feel over the top. It felt genuine. It felt real. Like, this is a real situation. And again, I know it's real. I know. But the style of making it real should be translated even to ones that aren't real stories, but used in that way because it's so good. And so I'm thinking, is Animal like that too? Because he's comparing to both like that, right? So should I watch Animal? Maybe I will too.
The standards so high now that Sid Anand has no other choice but to up his game. Number 12, Chatha Pacha. Around 7 or 8 years ago, there were a bunch of YouTube videos that went completely viral. A few kids from a Mumbai colony organizing their own WWE-style wrestling championship right in the middle of the street. As someone who grew up in the 90s and early 2000s on WWE, I was absolutely obsessed with these videos. So obsessed that I actually started writing a script about a middle-class neighborhood wrestling championship. I never finished a script, but clearly someone else did. Kerala is just on another level, taking international concepts and setting it on local soil, and that's what they've done with Chatha Pacha, the Ring of Rowdies. This film is all about the underground wrestling scene in Kochi. Childhood nostalgia, over-the-top action, punch dialogues, entrance music for every character, crazy costumes. It's going to be a blast that has international flavor but rooted on our own soil. And when you add a cast like Arjun Ashokan, Roshan Matthew, Vishak Nair, and Mammootty playing a cameo, possibly a cameo as a wrestling coach, it all makes the hype very, very real. Special surprise, we're also the official merchandise partners of the film. So if this world of wrestling excites you as much as it excites me, Ring of Rowdies merch is dropping on Fully Filmy very, very soon. So go check it out. At number 11, Love Insurance Company. I don't care what anyone else thinks or says, but I personally feel Pradeep Ranganathan is a star. He's funny, he's unhinged, he has great screen presence, and I think he has an X factor that a lot of other young Tamil actors don't have. Most importantly, he's one of the very few actors who's sticking to romantic comedies and delivering hit after hit. So Pradeep Ranganathan in a futuristic love story where an app decides the compatibility between two people and where Chennai looks like Kuala Lumpur with a Kamal Haasan Film Academy, Velacheri Water Park, and a Kollywood mountain. This looks like some solid mindless fun which the Tamil film industry really needs right now.
That kind of reminds me, if you guys ever watched Her, it's called Her, and it's like he fell in love with a robot and everything, and it's like very futuristic almost. Or even Black Mirror, where like it sets it in a different tone. Every episode is different. It kind of reminded me of that style with the Kollywood sign and looking so futuristic with flying cars, kind of like that. Indian films should delve into things like that for sure and get really good at that.
Number 10, Vaa Vaathiyaar. There are a few geniuses across the world who make a masterpiece and then disappear. Then they come back after many years, make another
a masterpiece and then disappear. What's that dude who made that song? You need not to cut me off. Like that dude, he made a hit, left.
Across the world who make a masterpiece and then disappear. Then they come back after many years, make another masterpiece, and then again disappear from the face of the earth. One of those geniuses is Nalan Kumarasamy, one of the wackiest Tamil film directors who's collaborating with Karthi this time. And he's returning after 9 years to make a quirky action comedy about an MGR fan. This movie was supposed to release in 2025, but because the producer got stuck in some kind of legal or financial battle, the release of the film got stalled, but hopefully we're going to see the film in 2026. And next, I'm I'm going to combine number 9, number 8 and number 7 because all of these three are Suriya films. In one of my videos last year, I compared Suriya's career to Narsil, this legendary sword from the Lord of the Rings.
Oh, I love
franchise.
Lord of the Rings.
It's a sword that was once powerful but got broken into many pieces. I was hoping that a director like Karthik Subbaraj could take all of those broken pieces together and make a completely new sword with retro, but unfortunately, that didn't happen. This is not because Suriya lacks talent. That's never been the problem. His problem has always been alignment. The scripts, the directors, the timing. For many years, none of these three aspects came together at the right time. But this time, he's collaborating with RJ Balaji in a mass masala action film like Karuppu. He's doing this mature, complicated love story with Mamita Baiju, directed by Venki Atluri, who's fresh from the success of Lucky Bhaskar. But my favorite collab of all of these three has to be the one with Jittu Madhavan, the director who created one of the most legendary characters in decades.
Oh my gosh, I've seen the music video.
All these three films have to be great? No, just one of them has to be the spark. And if cinema has taught us anything, Narsil doesn't stay broken forever. It just needs to catch fire. And if you want this channel also to catch fire and blow up, hit that subscribe button right now. Number 6, Jailer 2. I don't know if this is really true, but I saw a post on X that along with Rajnikant, this is going to be the cast of Jailer 2. But here's the thing, I'm not simply excited just because of the star cast. I'm just excited for this one guy who got so trolled after one mistake that he made with one film. To see him take all those trolls, all that negative energy and turn it into a comeback film like Jailer, and now getting to watch him go so big with Jailer 2, I really don't care how good or bad the film is going to be. I just respect Nilsson as a director, and just to see him get the opportunity like this feels like a personal victory. Number 5, Arasan. A reason why a lot of us relate to Simbu is because just like him, at the end of every year, we announce a comeback in the new year. Every single time, Simbu fans pray and hope that at least this time, with at least this film, our man is going to make it back. And even if he worked really hard to get back to fitness, looking really fit and sexy right now, in terms of his films, that comeback
Say you look what?
hasn't happened yet, but this time, this is not going to miss. No matter how tired I am of gangster films, but when Vetrimaran is making one, you know it's going to be special, it's going to be vast, it's going to be epic. What makes it even more special is that his collaboration with Simbu is going to be part of the Vada Chennai universe, which has its own cult fan base. Including
I'm going to become a cult fan base for Dhurandhar, because even with these numbers coming in, and obviously there's a lot of gangster films, I wouldn't say that Dhurandhar was a gangster film, but I would say that it was a spy film, right? A lot of people were saying that. And the new one that's going to come out very soon, March 16th, I believe, the part 2. Watching that instantaneously. Absolutely love that film, bro. I need to. Anyways, with that being said, I think the idea that films are now going to look at Dhurandhar as a level that needs to be accomplished. This is why I love when films outdo so much expectations, because then it sets a standard, which I'm going to appreciate a lot.
Vetrimaran, we trust. Number 4, Mollywood Times. I made a video sometime back about my 15 favorite Malayalam films of the last 15 years, and at number 2, I picked this twisted masterpiece called Mukundan Unni Associates. After watching that film, I just decided that anything that this director called Abhinav Sundar Nayak makes, my butt is going to be there right on that theatre scene. In Mollywood Times, he teams up with Naslin, one of my favorite new-gen Malayalam actors in my favorite genre of cinema. Films about films, made by someone who clearly loves breaking cinema.
Wow.
Number 3, Toxic. What do you do when an entire country recognizes you because of one movie, one role, one look, one facial hairstyle that if you even think of getting a shave, it might put your entire career at risk? After the cult status of KGF, Yash could have had the entire world at his feet. The biggest directors of the country would have come to him, casting him in 1,000 crore budget films, but no. As the first film he signed since KGF, Yash decides to take a completely different route. He decides to collaborate with a 2-film-old director whose film's budget would not have even exceeded 10 crores, which means he's a man with a plan collaborating with a woman also with a plan who probably had a vision that no other director who came to Yash had in their minds. It's crazy how Toxic is one of the biggest films of the year already, and still we have absolutely no idea what the film is about, except that it has 5 heroines, that announcement teaser that puzzled the audience more than it revealed anything, and that tagline with...
Because I watched the the teaser, the official teaser that came out for this, the official Hindi teaser. A lot of people were angry about that, but for some reason it wasn't showing up for me on YouTube. I tried to search up the official teaser like in its original language and it wasn't showing up. Maybe it's blocked in the US or something. This also happens when I'm watching the original films. A lot of you guys need to understand not only patience with certain things, but also like understanding. Because sometimes maybe it's the specific location, the state I'm in. Maybe Florida is not showing it. Maybe there's other things that could explain as to why. I'm not just willingly just choosing whatever. I'm clicking your guys' link. Sometimes it doesn't work. Then I'm like, okay, then I have to search it. Once I search it, I only see that one, that official teaser, the Hindi one. That's it. Same with the movies. I go on Netflix, I go on everything, and there's only the Hindi version. Even though there's Malayalam or there's just not showing up. They don't release it for the US. And I try VPN. No work. So that's another thing. But I did watch the trailer, the teaser on the channel, the recent one. Not just the introducing Raya, which I also did. Introducing Raya is on his channel, and so is this teaser here.
Simply says fairy tale for grown-ups. I'm just waiting for March 19, 2026 when the clash with the second highest grossing Hindi film of all time is about to go down. Number 2, Ramayana Part 1. If you're on X, you probably know this. There's kind of a hate campaign going against India and Indians, especially from the West. Westerners are openly calling us unhygienic, loud, smelly, all sorts of things. But beyond the noise, there is just so much more about our culture.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is I actually did a video on that recently talking about how a lot of Canadians are experiencing that with Indians. And I prefaced over and over in that video explaining that you cannot generalize an entire culture or nationality into one thing. That's like me being Brazilian. You meet one rude Brazilian and then you assume all Brazilians are bad. Or even if you meet 5, unlucky, but not all of us are rude. And I think that same conception with Indians, right? You're probably going to meet maybe a stinky Indian, maybe a stinky Brazilian. Maybe you'll meet a rude and disgusting, horrible person that's like that. You can't now just be like, oh, yeah. If you meet one rude-ass, nasty-ass United States or American, you're not going to just assume all Americans are like that. That's just not how it works. The same thing applies for Indians. Not all there's Indians who look at those kinds of Indians who are rude and disrespectful or even unhygienic. Like, come on, dude, what? There's that in my comments all the time. Some people are like, yeah, we do not approve of that, period. Same thing with Americans. There's Americans who are so rude, so unhygienic or disgusting and disrespectful. And you're like, well, we don't approve of that. That's just rude. That's not all Americans or that's not all Brazilians. As for me in this case, right? Same thing applies for this whole Indian thing. Like, people need to understand it. And some people just get warped into this idea where it's like, oh, yeah, that means all of them are. No.
Our aesthetics and our stories that the rest of the world doesn't really know about. Very, very few Indian films have genuinely broken through internationally and made a lot of noise like RRR. And that's why Ramayana excites me. Not just as a movie, but as a cultural moment. Beyond the insane cast, the massive budget, A.R. Rahman's music, it's the fact that the world's biggest VFX company is producing this film and Hans Zimmer is collaborating on the script. Plus the fact that the film is releasing in multiple foreign languages with global distribution. Something tells me that this film is not just made for us. It's meant to be world class. And if it works, it won't just elevate Indian cinema. It might actually impact how the rest of the world sees India. And finally, at number 1, Dhurandhar. I don't think in the history of this channel I've made 3 videos about a single film. That's how obsessed I am with this one.
That movie was insane.
I'm obsessed with the music, with the characters, the hidden details, the real life horror stories. And it's not just me. Dhurandhar has sent shockwaves through the entire industry. Not just because of its box office run, but also because of its craft. The detailing, the casting, the action, the violence. The fact that for 3.5 hours, not a single moment feels wasted.
I mentioned that too. Like, when I was watching the film, it genuinely felt like the 3 hours didn't even pass. I was just in it, zoned in the whole time.
Filmmakers like Ram Gopal Varma are raving about it. Legendary producers, who I'm not going to name, are postponing, changing or shelving films. Entire cinematic universes are quietly rethinking their plans. And honestly, I never expected a Hindi film to have this kind of impact. But the Bollywood that I grew up believing in, the one industry that made films with ambition, confidence and a spine, just with this one film, it feels like that Bollywood is slowly coming back. And on 19th March 2026, when part 2 comes out, we'll know for sure. And that was
March
today's
19th.
video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you agree or disagree with this list.
Yeah, you guys let me know. Love this video by him. Also, just want to preface again, I know it's now March, not March 16th, it's March 19th. I am so hyped for that. Please let me know with this list that he mentioned, what you guys think, your thoughts. What is the next one I should react to or watch? I love you guys. Till next time. Peace. How good you been living? Wait, how good you been living? I've been living too good for you. I've been living too. Did what I did and I do it again. Every move that I make, I ain't feeling repent. Nobody believes to believe it's a friend, and you question your moves like you really won't end. Really?